Hello everyone, welcome to Jay's YouTube channel, and today we're going to be starting our new remastered top-down zombie shooter series. And yeah, so the first thing we're going to do is open up NetBeans or Eclipse. We're going to File, New Project, Java Project, and you can browse to whatever location you want it to be in. Well, looks like my memory is low. So first I'm just going to create a folder. I'm going to create it right on the desktop, and I'm going to save it as and yeah, I'm going to create a new folder and save it as top-down zombie shooter, because that's what we're going to create. Top-down zombie shooter Java game. You can put it anywhere you want. I'm just putting it in desktop to make it easier to navigate into. So I'm going to open up NetBeans, go File, New Project, Java application, new Java application, and we're going to browse this application to desktop. And I'm going to name it as top-down zombie game. We're gonna finish, and yeah, so we currently just created our new project. Now the next thing we want to do is to create the display class. So the display class is basically the window, and basically deals with creating the window in which you can draw our game or render our game onto. So it's taking some time, and yeah, it's done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put my project inside a packaging system. So I'll just change the name of the package. I'm just gonna say jcodes. You can create whatever package you want, but I just prefer going with jcodes.topdownzombie.game. Yeah, that's what I prefer. That's great. So now when you create a new project, I don't know if Eclipse does this, is that in NetBeans you will already get your main program, your main Java application program. This basically runs your code. Whatever app or game you design is basically going to be run by your main method, your main application, which contains the main method. So for starters, I just want to make sure that it works. So we're just gonna have a system out of print line, and we're gonna say hello zombie game. We're just gonna print out hello zombie game. And it seems like it's working. Yay. Now what I want to do is to create a new package. I want to order everything and put everything in its own package. I want to put the display, anything that has to do with display in the display package, anything that has to do with the graphics inside the graphics package, anything that has to do with gameplay inside the gameplay package, and everything else. So I'm just going to create a new package, and I'll just call it the display package, which includes top-down.zombie.game, zombie.game.display. So basically this will handle our display, and I'll just have to rename this to .main. I have to rename this and .main, because it's our main package. It has the main method which launches our game. So when you create a window, most games have a title and has a width and height for a set aspect, for a set resolution. So for that, we just need to go create a new class, a new Java class, and I'm just gonna call it display. And inside the class, I'm just gonna have a few global variables, public global variables. You can make them public or private, it doesn't really matter. Some say it's for security reasons, since you're building your own game and you won't be distributing it, or you won't have other developers to help you make the game. I think just making everything public, making stuff public or private doesn't have any difference. So the first thing I'm gonna have is a string for a title. That's the title of our game. We're gonna store the width of the game, public int width, and the height of our game. And we're gonna have a constructor. It's basically a method that sets this stuff, that populates these values, the variables, the width, the height, and the title variables that get populated and set in here. So we can have methods, public. I can have a method to get these values and to set these values. So a few methods, those are the methods I will need. Public string get title. In fact, I actually don't need to do this. Since we have them public, we can basically just reference them with a dot, with a full stop. But if you're not going the public route, you can go private. You can make these values private, and then just create a method, a public method, to retrieve those values. Get string, let me just do it. Oh, I made a mistake. Public string get title. Returns the title. Okay, so what this method does is basically get title is going to call a method or a function get title, and it will return the value stored inside the string. So I think I'm tired of doing all of that. So what I'm going to do is just going to go to a shortcut, and if I recall this correctly, I just go to insert code, getters, and yeah, it's going to generate. So NetBeans, I think also Eclipse has this. It's going to generate all the rest of the code for me, the getters, the get height, and the get width. So yeah, so we can go and test this out. So we can say display equals to new display equals to new display. So first we're going to have the title of our game. I'm just going to store that as a variable here, title, and we can just call it top-down shooter, ZombieGame, ZombieGame, and then string int width equals to let me go with 640, and the height equals to 480. And the other thing is that we need to, since it's this class and the main class and the display class are in different packages, we're going to have to import this package into our main package in order to use the classes. So right at the top, I need to have an import statement, import playcodes.top.zombie.game.display.star, because we're going to use everything in the display inside the display class. So I'm just going to say, as you can see, the red error underline line or underneath the display here is gone. So what is left is that it's gonna give us an error, create method display. Basically says that we are not using this display and there's no this method, we're not using this method and there is no method called display. So we just have to use the insert the correct parameters inside here, and yeah. So I'm gonna put in the title, the width and the height. Title width and the height equals to new. Oh, I didn't use the keyword new. Yeah. And now to check if it's working, we're just gonna say system.out.println. Let's say display.title. Display.title. ZombieGame, which is this title over here. We can also use the method which we created, the function that we created to get title. If we did not make these fields, if we didn't make them public, then we have to use these methods, because then they're private. So we have to use this function when we need to retrieve the value. And when we run that, we get that. So now let's go and create a window. So inside here, we're going to import the javax, the Jframe. We're going to create a Jframe. So we're going to say import. In fact, let's just extend a Jframe. Extends Jframe. So if you do that, we don't need to do this anymore. Neither do we need to do this. We're just going to have to change a few things. The reasons I'm doing this is that Jframe, the Jframe class has other width and height values that we can easily set. So we can say this dot super dot title we can just simply set width to whatever. So once, let me explain this first. So when we use the keyword extends in Java, we basically extend all the properties from from whatever class we're extending. And currently we're extending from the Jframe class, which is basically a window, and it has all this other stuff. So in order to set the stuff for the Jframe, we're gonna say set width. We're gonna need to set the width and the height of the Jframe. So there's an inbuilt function called set size, width and height. And yeah, so we already set the size here. And there's also another function to set the title. And it sets the title to the title. So we're just calling these functions from this class, even though we didn't have to create the functions inside here. So the other thing is we need to create a display method, that basically a function, a display method that basically will display the Jframe that we created. So we're going to create a function display, and I'm just going to call it display. And this is simply going to call the set visible to true method. Display public void. Yeah, I forgot a few things. Yeah, public void display, and yeah, then we're good. Let's save, and then run. Everything, it built successfully. Now I just have to call the display function. Display. We're just gonna call the display function display. And there we go. We have our window, which we're going to be using to play games, which we're going to be rendering our game onto. Now, the other thing is that the program didn't actually end. As you can see, it's still running. We need to fix that, because it's going to waste the memory. it's going to waste the user's memory. The person is playing a video game. So we're just gonna end this process manually. And yeah, so a few things I want to say is I want to create a method, a function. I want to call it the initialize method. So public void initialize. So basically I'm going to take in some few parameters, width and height. So yeah, so by doing this, so you can basically do this. And then I'm just going to call initialize here. We haven't changed anything, we just wrapped all of this inside a method. The only reason I said I created a new function initialize so that we can change the width and the height of the Jframe dynamically throughout running the application. So the first few things I want to add or change here is I wanted to make it close, right? So what we're gonna say is set default close operation to Jframe dot exit demo. Jframe dot exit on close. So this will basically mean that if we press the close button, the close thingy, the X button on the window, it will certainly close. And the next thing we want to add is to make sure the window is centered in the middle of in the center of the screen. So to do that, we're just gonna say set position relative to now. Set position relative. This is where it's set location. It's location, not position. Set location relative to now. So if we run the program now, it comes in the middle, and if we close the program, it ends, it stops running. So what we did is create a simple displaying window to basically create the window, and that's it. So stay tuned for the next video. So guys, there are going to be some source files with the link down in the description in the drive, so you can download them if you want to get the source code. And yeah, please like and subscribe, and yeah, peace.